sacrifice, and resolve. It can be tempting to think that America can put aside the burdens of freedom. Yet times of testing reveal the character of a nation. And throughout our history, Americans have always defied the pessimists and seen our faith in freedom redeemed.
That was the president out of the Oval Office into the library last night, talking to you live, standing up. How did his message do last night with the American people? Joining us now, Christine O'Connell. She's a Republican public relations consultant.
O'Donnell.
Oh,
That's why she's giggling.
O'Donnell. You know what? It's Irish either way. So, Christine,
are you
welcome.
related to Rosie?
No relation.
All right, fine.
I could tell.
Name is the only thing we have in common.
All right.
Christine, what did you think of the president last night? Rather than his performance, what about the words? What about the message?
Yeah, the president was very restrained last night, and he was very sober and somber. We've seen him much more passionate in the past, but this speech wasn't about his likability. It was about presenting a very serious message and telling the American people exactly what we're going to face. I think the president did an excellent job, and I personally am more confident. What I would have liked to see him change, however, is to, you know, add a little bit, maybe more fighting words, rally the people a little bit more, remind Americans of our penchant for victory.
Right.
You know, when America decides to win, we win, and that's what this is all about. We have no other choice but to be victorious in Iraq.
Absolutely, but now the president's facing a different political climate at home. There are a couple of prominent Republican senators, Coleman and Brownback, saying this is the wrong thing. This surge or escalation, not now.
Right. Well, what Brownback said, to my understanding of his statement yesterday, is that we're not going to have peace until the Sunnis and the Shia start working together.
The backstory.
Right. Well, what the president is proposing is not mutually exclusive to that. And what's happening now is the time for folksy campaigning is over. The sloganeering, it's done. It's time to get to work, it's time to win, and it's time to win at all costs.
Well, guess what? He should brace himself, because next week a symbolic vote in the Democrat-controlled House and Senate that will say, what do you think about funding this? And it's not going to pass, and the president would never sign it, but it's a way to get people on the record about where they stand. He's got to be ready for that.
It's a hollow gesture. I mean, that's the problem with what the Pelosi Democrats are doing. It's a stunt, exactly that. It doesn't say anything other than we oppose Bush. And the problem with the Democrats, the Pelosi Democrats, because not all of them are bad, the problem with the very
Just
liberal...
her, would you say?
No, those who follow her, is that all they want to do is oppose the president.
Right.
You can't argue with someone who has no argument.
Right.
They're saying whatever he does is wrong, but they're not proposing an alternative.
Well, Christine, politicians are going to disagree about politics. Generally, that's why they call them that. But ultimately, what the president had to do last night was sell America. And you're an expert at stuff like this. Do you think he changed some minds where people at home sitting in their lazy boys are going, all right, let's give him one more?
I think the people like me who are political junkies and take this
the
people who take this intravenously might be more confident, but unfortunately I think the president, where perhaps he did drop the ball, like I said, is reminding America that we have no other choice but to win. We have to take this message and remind them, tell them very specifically why it is in our best interest for Americans to be in Iraq right now. And that's where I believe he failed. But I think his message was very strong. Don't get me wrong.
If you're squaring off against Muqtada al-Sadr, America can get behind that. But if you're sitting there walking the streets, policing, arresting people, that's where people have trouble.
Christine O'Donnell, we thank you so much for
Thank you very
joining
much
us
for
live
having
today.
me.
All right, 19 minutes now after the top of the hour. Straight ahead, folks are tossing his name around as a 2008 White House contender. Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee reveals how we can restore America's greatness.
He watched the speech last night, by the way. I just talked to him. Plus, the secret